Hi 3B, hope everyone's well. Thank you so much for amazing work this week. The simile work on animals and rainbows has just lifted my spirits and put a lot of joy in my heart. They have been amazing. Thank you so much. And I've also seen some other brilliant things. I've just watched a circuit assault course set up by Connie in her back garden. That was pretty impressive and just made me want to get up and do some exercise. Actually, it looked amazing. Right, this week. So your work pack this week, your English is focusing for a couple of days on getting the correct spelling of the homophone there right. So we misuse this all the time. It's a really common mistake. So there are 3 ways to spell there. I'm going to see if I can hold them up. Right, so we've got there, that one. We've got there. And we've got the contracted version there. So made up of they are. So you're going to be doing some work making sure you understand when to use which spelling of those homophones. So if you think about this one, they are. So an example of this one would be, they're making such a noise in the back garden because they are making such a noise in the back garden. We shorten it to there. This one, so T-H-E-I-R, talks about belonging and possession. So an example of this one would be, the family walked their dog, the dog belonging to them, their dog, in Tring Park. And this one, T-H-E-R-E, that is used when we're describing where something is. So there is my bag on the floor. T-H-E-R-E, so it's a positional use of that one. So some activities using that, and then you're going to do a little bit of story writing. So I've written you a little passage that has in it a lot of theirs. So your first job is to work out which there has been used and why, and make sure you understand that. And then you're going to finish this story for me. Okay, so here's the clip, here's the little bit of writing that I've written, and then you're going to think of an exciting story ending. There was an excitement building in the room. Their spines began to tingle as they realised what was about to happen. There, whispered one of the children quietly. The children put down their pens and turned their heads to face the door. The door handle turned, and there, in the middle of the doorway, stood what they had all been waiting for. A silence fell over the room, and their eyes were transfixed. There was a moment of calm, and then... ... Oh, a cat. That's Luna in the background. So your job is to plan the story ending to that little story start. Okay, so I look forward to reading what you've come up with there. I love reading them, and I also love hearing you read them, so share them any way you can. And then there's also, on the 5th task, a completely different picture that invites you to think about it a little bit, and it's called Without Gravity. So we've not used this kind of resource before, but hopefully it inspires some of you with your writing. Okay, now the reading this week, I found on the World Book Day site some extracts from amazing books, and one of the books was from Fantastically Great Women Who Made History. I'm sure we've had this book in school. I think, Emmeline, you might have brought it in. Okay, so it's one of those books where there's lots of extracts about amazing people, and this one's about amazing women. And the clip that I would like you, the extract I would like you to read, and then the clip I would like you to watch, is sadly really, really important and relevant right now. So I'm sure in your homes you've been thinking about the awful situation in America with the tragedy of the murder over them. And so in our hearts and in our minds right now, we're really thinking about tolerance and inclusion and making sure everybody is treated equally. And I planned this work before the atrocities happened. But this extract is all about a really, really famous woman called Harriet Tubman. And she was born in the late 1800s. And she is well remembered, rightly so, for being somebody who helped to free a lot of slaves in America in the 1800s. So there's an extract to read and then a film to watch. Okay, so just enjoy watching and learning and reading. And then I've asked you to make a little kind of fact file, which is a lovely thing to do. And you're really good at this. You've done this before, absorbing information from films and clips and recording it in your own way. Okay, so maths this week, moving on to maths. There's 1 day to practice short division, the bus stop method. And then there's a few days of measuring and converting different measurements. So centimetres into millimetres and centimetres into metres. So lots of practical measuring to start with, and then some working on conversion. I just wanted to go through really quickly, if I can find this method. Right, look at this. Blue tack and a bit of paper. So this is for your bus stop. 92 divided by 4. 4 on the outside, 92 inside. So my first question, how many times will 4 go into 9? 4, 8. It will go in twice, but I've got 1 remainder, and that remainder gets carried over here. How many 4s go into 12? 4, 8, 12, 3. 92 divided by 4 equals 23. Okay. The second example, which is from challenge B, 288 divided by 3. How many times does 3 go into 2? It doesn't. So I'm going to put 0 here, and I'm going to move this 2 over here to make 28. How many times does 3 go into 28? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 9, and 1 more to make 28. How many times does 3 go into 18? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 6. 288 divided by 3 is 96. So that 0 is just holding that place but has no value. Okay. So what other activities? So you've got all of your measuring, which is super fun. There are some great mapping activities this week. So for those of you that are loving using world maps to help you with your mapping skills, we would like you to map the names of as many of the seas and oceans as you can. So I know some of you will especially love doing that. In our design and technology, if we were in school right now, we'd be thinking about healthy foods. And you've been asked this week to think about all the different food groups: fruits and vegetables, carbohydrates, proteins, dairies, oils and spreads, and thinking about grouping different foods into these groups. So you need to do a little bit of food sorting there. There's a really great RE activity as well, thinking about the Islamic building of worship, the mosque. And there's a PowerPoint that's been sent to you thinking about the structure of a mosque and how these beautiful buildings are so important to Muslims all around the world. And if you would like to, for those crafty ones around who would like a little bit of practical making, there's the option to build yourself a mosque out of an old box, maybe a shoebox. That would be great. PE, I think, Connie, you're in for this one based on what you sent me this week. Anyone else can join Connie on this challenge to design me a 5-minute exercise routine that I could use at school when we're all back, or with the key worker group when I'm in at the moment. A 5-minute exercise routine or warm up that will get our hearts racing and help us feel really good. Okay, right. That's not quite all of the activities, but I'm sure that's enough to get you started. I hope you all stay safe and well. Give me a wave if you see me around Tring. I'll certainly do the same to you. And I hopefully see lots of you very, very soon.